TV1 TV for life. News First, face to face with Jamal Ratnayaka.
A very good evening and welcome to another episode of News First's Face to Face, coming to you direct from our News First studios here in Colombo. For the News First team, I am Jamal Ratnayaka. It is the former Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, who said, "You can't shake hands with a clenched fist." If you apply that saying to Sri Lanka's political landscape, although there are multiple factions who are constantly criticizing one another, divided into parties, when it comes to election season, regardless of which election it is, even clenched fists turn into very warm handshakes. To discuss the importance of alliance building and for various political parties to come together in the mission of developing Sri Lanka, we have invited to our studios tonight Attorney at Law Shiral Lakthilaka, Senior Vice President of the United Republic Front. A very good evening to you, Mr. Lakthilaka, and welcome on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me in the program.
Certainly. So, Mr. Lakthilaka, as I mentioned in my opening remarks, alliance building, it is something that has been taking place in Sri Lanka between major political parties as well. But we see it more often than not during election season, where a certain political party aligns itself or joins forces with another political party to gain a majority vote. And we have seen more often than not that it is towards that particular intention of securing power and not in fact to help Sri Lanka develop itself and to take Sri Lanka towards a path of prosperity. But in that context, I want to pick your brain about how important alliance building is for Sri Lanka and any nation for that matter, and what sort of aspects need to align in order for a robust, formidable alliance to be formed.
Thank you very much. Coalition building or alliance building, either way we can explain. I would rather like to use the word coalition building. Coalition building is an essential feature in consensual democracy.
Right.
Consensual democracy is a rather strange notion to Sri Lanka, but within the consensual democracy, we use this tool to build broader consensus on power or policy. Now, notionally speaking, we can, through the political science notions, we find two ways of creating coalitions. One is we call consociational coalitions.
Right.
Other one called centripetal coalitions. So, consociational coalitions are built based on power blocks.
Okay.
Centripetal coalitions are based on policy.
Okay.
If you look back to Sri Lankan history, what we can see pre-1997 is more or less consociational coalitions. But thereafter, since the advent of the 1978 Constitution, 1978 Constitution has introduced the PR system.
Right.
Now, PR system has necessitated to form coalitions. You can't move forward with one party. You have to develop consensus among the other parties. So, this is the history notionally as well as practically.
Right.
But unfortunately, after 1977, this coalition building has become very frivolous.
Okay.
You know, the individuals now, as I said earlier, it's power and policy.
Right.
But unfortunately, after 1977, more people were, or politicians were, tend to think about power than policy. So this is the problem where we are.
Right.
standing.
So where did this shift occur? How did this shift occur where parties were more interested in securing power rather than working towards a common policy and reaching a specific goal? Why do you think that that change happened?
No, it's actually, if you look at Sri Lanka, it's a Sri Lanka specific problem.
I see.
To me, all over the world, politics is based on power, realism.
Okay.
You can't say that this country or this party is based on rational and policy. So it's a mixture. But in Sri Lanka, since 1977, this balance it has gone off balance.
I see.
Right? So now gradually we have reached to the apex of this imbalance. That's why, if you take the impact of this imbalance, the bankruptcy happened as a result of that. Now, some people say that this is a bankruptcy of economy.
Okay.
No, according to us, it's not only an economy, it's a bankruptcy of governance.
I see.
The governance crisis is showing three aspects. One is the debt, the second is the corruption, third is inefficiency, and fourth is instability. All we inherited as a result of this governance crisis, and governance crisis are created through this bad politics. Bad politics have happened as a result of bad coalition building. So this is the history and the story of Sri Lanka.
Okay, so let's apply all of those features to the newly created party, the United Republic Front, led by Member of Parliament Partli Champika Ranawaka. Where does the United Republic Front fit in the larger spectrum of Sri Lanka's political landscape?
We actually, including Mr. Honorable Partli Champika Ranawaka, we are not newcomers to the
political scene. Yes.
We were there. But we were there and we understood, learned through the process what we are doing. Wrong, what has happened in Sri Lanka, which is obvious through the bankruptcy, that we didn't have clear-cut policy.
Yes.
Second is, our power orientation is always went on rent seeking. Power for rent seeking. Power never used to build the country. Thirdly, our political culture is as such that it was not meant to look at the people and the social contract what we have entered into. So the URF, which we call is United Republic Party. So we based our principle on republic.
Okay.
Republic is what? Republic means, simple meaning is people's sovereignty.
Right.
Right? We are using the sovereignty to govern the country. So unfortunately from 1948, now when you talk about republic or notion of republic, we are based on social contract.
Right.
Now social contract has eroded in Sri Lanka for last 70 years. So that's why some people like JVP or other parties are saying 70 years of curse. But what we are saying is it's not a curse, it's about governance crisis, and we have not been able to protect and reinforce the social contract what we have been achieved in 1948. So therefore the URF or the basic principle of URF is to rebuild this republic.
Right.
That is the notion, the worldview of URF. So when you do that, there are several other things. Now we, in a very simple manner, we have created this policy document. This is how to deal with current, how do you call it? It's a socio-economic and cultural crisis.
Right. What is the document called, Mr. Lakthilaka?
It's called A Step Forward with Unity for Our Nation.
Okay.
So this is a very recent document, but throughout the time from 2021, we developed several policy documents. Now, when it comes to the URF, earlier we propagated our approach through 43rd Brigade. So 43rd Brigade also as a civil movement has created or generated a lot of policy documents. Now we are talking about 3 or 4 basic principles. One is pragmatism.
Right.
We are talking about, yes, I may be a liberal, you may be a Marxist, doesn't matter. By following what Deng Xiaoping said, what matters is the outcome.
Okay.
Deng Xiaoping said, he is not worried about the color of the cat as far as the cat catches the mice.
Okay.
So likewise, in Sri Lanka, we are divided along various isms.
Okay.
Right? The isms have not done anything to Sri Lanka. Mr. Wickremesinghe may say that he is following neoliberalism, or JVP would say that they are following the Marxism, or somebody else will say that they are following social democracy.
Okay.
But those isms have never brought any result for Sri Lanka. So what we are saying is each ism will be good at
certain levels.
So let's converge them. That's the first approach. Then our second approach is empathy.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the political culture of Sri Lanka, our empathy level, that's why people are cursing against the politicians. They think that they are selfish bunch of people. So, what people now says, you don't have empathy. So, we are emphasizing that we need empathy.
Okay.
Right? So, likewise, we bring new approach to the crisis.
Okay.
Secondly, we are far thinking about, because the young generation right now in Sri Lanka will be or would be the adults in 2050. Now, what would be the nature of this world in 2050? Right? So, in that case, you have to transform this country into digitization and digital transformation. We have to prepare the society. That's why Honorable former Minister Champika always talk about the economic development through digitalization. Right? So, there are lot of principles and policies we have introduced to Sri Lanka, the political class and political politicians. So, through this, we are lobbying through various political groups to form a natural, formidable and pragmatic coalition to serve the country. That's our purpose.
Okay, so in the interest of the viewers getting to know what exactly you have in mind when it comes to your party, we saw this particular proposal being presented to President Ranil Wickremesinghe a couple of months ago. And if we take the party politics aspect of the things, he is the leader of the United National Party. And we did not see thereafter the UNF presenting, the URF rather, presenting this proposal to any other party, maybe the SJP.
That is not correct.
Did we?
Yeah. So we, starting from, we presented it first to SLFP. Right. Then SLFP. Now it's distorted. Distorted. But we met Mr. Maithripala Sirisena, former president, and his party members. That is the first instance. Then we forwarded it to the Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. Then we met all other political groups in the spectrum. The Dallas Salah Peruma.
Have you reached out to the JVP?
We actually, what happened with this document is we invited JVP to the forum, but they declined.
What about the Samagi Jana Balaveke?
We met Mr. Ranjit Madhu Bandara and handed over the proposal and had a long discussion over the problems, scenarios. And we would say that across the spectrum, everybody was happy with the document. Now, document itself won't convert politics into power. So there are, between now and future, we have a lot of things to be done. So that's what we are doing. It's is basically, as you stated, coalition building based on, as I said at the beginning, consociational plus centripetal coalition building. We are trying to do that because right now we see that but if we don't interfere with this issue, by 2027, there is a danger of precipitating our country once again back to a severe economic crisis.
Right.
So we have to avoid that. So power alone will not do that. So that's what we are saying. We are coming to this kind of forums also to address this issue and tell, look, people are concerned about whom you are going to be elected as the president. But we are saying not the name. Look at the policy. Look at the strategy.
Right.
Now, without that, we can't transform this country into a safer waters. That is the issue. There is a danger of repeating this crisis by another 3 years. So you need serious intervention. Not only policy, even planning. Now, I heard today there is a news story saying that the Treasury has overestimated the taxes. Now, this cannot be happen in country like this, right? So we need thorough vision, thorough planning, thorough implementation. But unfortunately, what we can see right now in the country, including Mr. President, has reverted back to populism.
Right.
Populism is the main danger what our country has precipitated into this crisis. So we have to avoid this. But unfortunately, all are now talking about whom I'm going to elect through my ballot. That is not the issue. In Sri Lanka, what we have to do is we need pragmatic leaders. We need policy-oriented leaders. We need policy-oriented planners and implementators. But right now, that discourse is not in the country. The URF is trying to surface that discourse through this kind of documents as well as other means of political communication.
So, Mr. Lakthilaka, talking about policies and manifestos which are used during election seasons. Over the years, we saw former President Mahinda Rajapaksa having the Mahinda Chintanaya, Maithripala Sirisena coming through good governance, and then Gotabaya Rajapaksa coming through his manifesto of vistas of prosperity and splendor. All these manifestos had very ambitious visions for Sri Lanka. If that vision was realized by any of those manifestos, Sri Lanka would probably have been a developed country by now. But the lacuna there was in implementation. It is on a piece of paper but is not being executed or implemented. So how does the URF intend to ensure that whatever policy is developed and put forward to the people, and if the people in turn place their faith on those policies and vote the URF or anyone who supports the policies of the URF into power, these policies will in fact be enacted in our land?
I fully agree with you because if you look at our history, the implementation part is the worst part of our development process. So that's why I think if one follows what Mr. Champika Ranawaka was talking in the parliament or his various Ways and Means Committee or any other social media platforms, that's why the URF as a party is talking about digitalization of economy. Now, digitalization of economy will answer the first issue of implementation, that is corruption. You can stop corruption.
Right.
Even if you look at the IMF report, even the debt, what do you call?
The governance diagnostic tool.
The diagnostics tool has said introduce digitalization into decision making.
I see.
Right? So that's one way. Even if you look at the way the tax are collected, customs is functioning, all these issues, all backlogs can be removed through digitalization. So that's why in our this book also, we have very simple manner. We said Sri Lanka need digitization. What do you mean by digitization? Digitization is put every data into
a database.
Digitalization, so convert that digitized data into a process.
Okay.
Now we know in simple manner, we all use this Uber or whatever other modes of transportation by using the map. So you create a process. So then we digitize data, digitalized processes have to be converted into digital transformed economy.
Okay.
Right? Starting from the industrial revolution in 18th century, the world has gone through various phases of it, right? Now we have come to the digitalized economy. 2050 would be the zenith of that process, right? So that's why the URF is the only party and our leader is the only person who is emphasizing the need of, transforming this economy into digitalized economy, right? He talks about digitalized rupee.
Okay.
Right? If we have
he has even spoken about blockchains,
everything. That this country can survive. Not only survive, we can go leap forward if we reach. But unfortunately, what is the situation even now? We don't have a digital. I don't think so. That we have a ministry to deal with that, right? So, simple answer for your question is that the implementation crisis can be resolved through digitalization.
Okay.
Corruption can be stopped, averted, and through digitalization. Efficiency can be
increased,
brought through digitalization. The poverty can reduce through digitalization. So that should be the agenda of this country. But unfortunately, it is not with us. How many people are talking in that way? Nobody. Only URF is talking.
So let's talk politics. When it comes to election season, to execute whatever plans you have for this country, you need power. Fortunately or unfortunately, that is the bitter truth. When it comes to election season this year, we know that there is speculation of a presidential election, and is mentioned in the constitution as well. If and when the presidential election is announced, where will the URF stand? Will the URF have a presidential candidate, or will it align itself with another party's presidential candidate?
No, we are evaluating that potential right now. We are not foreclosing that Mr. Champika Ranawaka would not be the presidential candidate in the forthcoming election.
Right.
But saying so, or keeping that in our mind, we are evaluating what are the best coalition options that would be sufficient to cater this kind of policy document.
Right.
That's why we met Ranil, we met Sajid, everybody. So our strategy will be based on this document. So first step is not to accept this piece of paper. So they must come forward how they are going to implement this. So then when it comes to discussion at that level about implementation aspect, then comes the issue of power. So what kind of power you are going to invest on this document?
Right.
That would be our question. Not that what kind of portfolio you are going to give us. We are talking about what kind of power you, whatever the leadership is going to invest on this kind of document.
Right.
That is our issue. We are policy bound and policy oriented.
Right.
So if right now I can say that from the face of it, there is very less of probability to form a coalition with JVP.
I see.
Because JVP's stand is they are not going to reach to a coalition with various other parties, but there is a party and individuals can join to them through the NPP.
The National People's Power.
Right? So therefore we can reduce or we can say
somewhat silence that debate. Yes.
Then the option is in between the SJB and UNP.
Yes.
For us, both parties are, I mean, policy wise or their vision wise, we don't have any antipathy.
I see.
Right? If you take Mr. Wickremesinghe, Mr. Wickremesinghe has done a job. Right? He has managed the Sri Lankan primary account so far correctly.
Okay.
Not that he has done marvelous job, right? But he has done, but he has not been able to deal with corruption.
Yes, certainly.
That is the bad part of his governance. On the other hand, SJB is a new party. Actually, we all were there.
Were once together, yes.
We had a problem, policy level problem with them. We not defected, but we sidelined with them. So, we are open for that, them also. We are open for Mr. Wickremesinghe also. So, what we have to see how much emphasis they are going to give on our policy. So, then how much Mr. Pateli Champika Ranawaka is given a space to implement this kind of program.
Right.
Because I see that there are very few politicians in this country who can, like, Manmohan Singh in Indian time, very few personalities in our politics who could transform this country with a vision, planning and implementation. So Mr. Ranawaka is one of them.
Right.
One of the few politicians who are in our country.
Okay.
So therefore we will evaluate these options and take a decision at the appropriate time.
So the United Republic Front is policy driven and it will only support any party should it decide to form a coalition with any party if that party agrees to support the implementation of the proposals and the policies that the URF has envisioned for Sri Lanka. That is the message from my guest tonight, Attorney at Law Shiral Lakthilaka, Senior Vice President of the United Republic Front. Thank you very much, Mr. Lakthilaka, for joining me this evening and sharing very insightful discussion with me and our viewers as well. And that's the way it was on Face to Face tonight. Take care and do have yourselves a great night.
Fulfill your dream of studying in the UK.
Midule Ali, Wature Bali, Kusse Dali, Depai Duvile. Atarama Hena Atarata Balapuruttu Kena, Sarvajana Vishwasaya.